Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Downward Drive. We are continuing our 3-day streak. Well, they're not going to see it like that, but for me, it's the third day in a row of recording the show. We have gotten less and less sleep each night. Stuff is about to get unhinged. We are recording this on the day of Creator Clash, a big creator event, of course, and I'm here with someone who made a pretty big name for himself starting at last year's Creator Clash. If you don't know him yet, you will probably know him soon because you're watching the show where I'm interviewing him. But this is Brandon Buckingham. He's been making big waves on YouTube lately, coming up the pipe, and I believe he is the makings of a future star on this platform.
Fingers crossed.
That's what we hope.
Hopefully. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm a big Emp Lemon fan.
Oh, thank you.
I remember watching your videos when I was a school teacher in my classroom.
I can't wait to get a guy on the show who hates my videos.
Yeah?
Yeah, but
Just shits on you immediately?
I don't know when or if it's ever going to happen. Yeah.
You should get like your biggest hater on here.
Well, I'm trying to do the thing with Beyond the Meme, but it's more so like behind the meme, I don't think he hates me, but he probably doesn't want to see me.
He probably doesn't think that fondly of you.
No. But that's hopefully, that is the dream, man. I want to, like, people say, like, oh, you want Joe Rogan on your show? It's like, no, I want behind the meme. I want BTM on the show.
You want to interview him about how you impacted his life?
Well,
what would you interview him about?
We're gonna save that for when it actually happens, but
No spoilers.
it is going to be an amazing product if it does. But today we are here to interview you, the star of the show, Mr. Brandon Buckingham. Thank you for coming in here, and I guess let's just get started with what I've been asking everyone. How did you first get into YouTube, and what were some of your biggest inspirations and motivations for making content?
So I first got into YouTube in 2020 when I was an elementary school art teacher in January. Took a left up here. And my biggest inspirations were like Tom Green, $1 Million Extreme, Longmont Potion Castle, Don Hertzfeldt, Wild Boys, Jackass, Joe Goes, if you know that YouTube channel.
I'm not familiar, but I know a lot of those guys, and that is like the really classic run and gun kind of social type humor.
Yeah, people that are just out there in the streets, like actually talking to people and or messing with people. Like Longmont Potion Castle was all about, like, you know, pranking people in a weird way. Have you heard of him?
I have not.
Dude, he's so funny. He's
Really?
like an anonymous prank caller. He's been anonymous for like 20 years, and he like would call a company and convince them that like he has to dump 5 tons of gravel on their property today, and like try to talk to the higher ups and just see how far he can go with that.
Yeah, that's something that's interesting, because the old school prank guys like Jackass and such, and Tom Green, I feel like their content is a lot more well-liked than what would eventually come out on YouTube, because YouTube, it's kind of almost a passé genre now. I don't know, actually. There might be new prank channels, but it seems like YouTube TOS has updated to enforce against that, make it a little bit harder to make that kind of content. But YouTube prank channels have been rather infamous in the history of this site, as they went through a huge period as being this notorious bunch of people that a lot of YouTubers really wanted gone.
Yeah. I'm Ethan Bradbury.
Yes, that would be the precise era
Yeah.
I'm remembering right now.
Yeah.
But what do you think sets apart, I guess, Tom Green from maybe those guys? Or is there a difference, and maybe it's just prejudice against like the new guys?
I think Tom Green was very like original and creative and authentic. He didn't fake anything. Did a lot of fun improv, and it wasn't always just like some like weird fake packaged social experiment that is like to farm views.
Where just the people are involved are actresses,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. I mean, I think people just like realize that like you can make so much money off YouTube and it's a business, and that if you just clickbait stupid shit that people are interested in, like the fake pranks in the hoods. Like I remember Joey Salas did a video where he like put Trump shit all over a car and then like hired black actors to come smash the car.
You know who the greatest YouTube prankster is that almost never gets discussed?
Who?
Remy Gaillard.
I don't even know who that is.
Have you never seen him? He was popular back in the day, and his stuff was real. He's been like arrested multiple times. He's French, and like one video I remember he did like an animals prank compendium, and one of them he like dressed in a spider suit and then saran wrapped a porta potty with a person inside,
What?
and you just like a kangaroo and like just kick a fisherman in the ocean.
That's insane. That's like an
Yeah.
assault charge.
He did like Mario Kart in real life, where he took like a real go-kart on the roads, like disrupted traffic and like threw bananas at cars.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure almost all his stuff, if not all of it, was authentic. And he's like an undersung hero, in my opinion, in the prank genre. He's my goat for at least a prankster channel that got popular on YouTube.
Yeah, I need to check him out. I'm not familiar with her.
Yeah, I
him.
think you'd love his stuff if you like Tom Green and other stuff like that.
Yeah, I love Tom Green, but I feel like as I've gone through doing YouTube the past 3 years, I've like gotten farther and farther from like the pranking people and getting more into like the interviews and documentaries.
So yeah,
side of things.
your original content, was that prank related? What did the original Brandon Buckingham experience look like?
Oh man, all kinds of stuff. When you're first starting, you're just scraping to get out of like the hole of no one caring about you at all. Like my first video, I went around and did like interviews about a massage parlor in my hometown that had been busted for giving out happy endings. Kind of like a fake news reporter thing.
Oh yeah.
How do you feel about the hand jobs that were given at the Elite Spa? My next video was like a character prank video where I was acting like I'm the man. My next video, I pepper sprayed myself in the eyes
Jeez.
with pepper spray because I thought it would go viral.
You pranked yourself.
It got like 3,000 views in a week.
The pepper challenge.
Yeah. So I've done all different kinds of stuff. Like even in the beginning, I went to like a furry convention before my shit was public and like did like a little interview piece. But I don't know, I've done a lot of different stuff. I'm still like figuring out like what is the stuff people watch me for. Like, it's all up in the air. I don't really know.
What would you say was your first breakout video where people actually took notice to you and you really started getting on an upward trajectory?
January 6th, storming the Capitol.
Really?
Yeah. I was just there by chance because I thought it was going to be I had heard from some friends it was going to be like an Antifa versus Trump like battle. And I wanted to do a video where I interview Antifa and ask the same questions to the Trumpers and then like kind of juxtapose the two. I think it's the left right here. But it didn't turn out to be that way because it turned out to be just a ton of people marching on the Capitol building. And I was there all day just by chance, and that was my first video that, like, if you look at my social blade, it's like my first like boost.
And that must have been immediately before any content discussing that got suppressed. That is one of the no issues on YouTube at this point.
Oh yeah, big time. My video from January 6th, which is completely non-biased and not promoting violence or promoting anything, has been removed and reinstated twice. They just removed it like last month and reinstated it.
Yeah, that reminds me of the video I did on The Thing, where that movie has had the red, yellow, and green dollar sign over its lifetime, and it has been removed, age restricted, and publicked. Wow. So it's like batting for the cycle, to use a baseball term. That it has had like every single combination of YouTube enforcement applied to it, and currently it's public and like suitable for advertisers, but I think like if you make YouTube videos for long enough and deal with risque subject matter, everyone has to deal with that at some point.
Yeah, I get demonetized a lot. It's like it's a big issue. And then like the algorithm hates monetized videos, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, lately I think it's been a little easier to get views if you're demonetized, but obviously you are someone who spends a lot of money traveling around and being on these physical in-person locations. I think that's something that separates your videos from a lot of people, because traveling is something I'm looking to do a lot more. I mean, I guess you could say I'm doing this now, making like travel content on location places. I feel like it offers a lot more of an authentic experience than just sitting in your room and like using pictures that you found from Google Images, which is what I've done thus far. But your videos are very interesting, where there's a very good sense of place in all your videos that I feel not a lot of other YouTubers are capable of replicating.
Well, it's not the best business model financially. I think that's one of the big reasons, you know what I mean? Like the difference between like staying in your room and talking about something that will pull similar amount of views is like actually paying the money to go there with a camera guy and talk to them, you know?
Yes, and that's a consideration you got to take when you're an up-and-coming channel. It's like got to be financially solvent, otherwise the content's just not going to be made.
Yeah, I feel like to have a channel, especially like where you're traveling, you need to have your financials in order. That was one good thing about teaching before becoming a YouTuber is I got to save up, you know, $10,000-$15,000 to finance my shit. But it's been a slow road, the YouTube grind. Like I remember I was a year and a half into doing YouTube full time, and took a left on Bayshore Boulevard, and I was $15,000 in debt from it,
Wow.
and only had 35,000 subscribers, and was pulling like 10K a video.
Did you take out loans to?
No, I just had my money from YouTube and was door dashing on the side to supplement my income, and yeah, it was definitely felt like a slow grind. But to most people, like 2 years to hit 100K is quick.
Yes, it took me 6 years to get to 100K,
Yeah.
and then probably another 3 years after that to get the next 100K.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah, more people are watching YouTube now than back in the day. There's been an inflation of like what subscriber numbers actually constitute something impressive. Because I got 1 million subs now, but like 1 million now is like as impressive as 100K was when I had 100K. So it almost feels like I'm in roughly the same place. But I don't know. Growth on YouTube is a thing that is very easy to get vexed about, and we get a little obsessed. I brought this up a bit in my Leafy video, but it's I've always said it's more important to feel good and feel satisfaction about the intrinsic value of the content you're creating. And for me, like, I don't know how you judge your own stuff. Some people are obviously really big critics of their own stuff, but I think you have a very unique and refreshing brand of content on YouTube that it's almost been missing. I feel like it's something that maybe like originally on YouTube, people were emulating stuff they saw on television, which is kind of like your style, but it's yeah, each of your videos is like going to a whole new world, almost like exploring, a little taste of a new culture, new place, new thing.
Yeah, it's like going to the hoods or going to places to talk to homeless people. Like a typical news reporter is going to go there and write their little story and then just talk about it, right? Mm-hmm. They're not going to actually let like the subject speak more often than not. So I don't know what kind of journalism that is, but that's like definitely my favorite kind to do.
It's almost more like tourism in a way.
Yeah.
Because you're inviting the viewer, who is probably just living an average life, an average place, to go to this eccentric location that that not everyone would probably even ever enter in their entire life.
Yeah.
So, like you, one of the ones that stuck out to me a lot was you went to Chicago O Block, one of the most notorious places in America in terms of just the danger, the notoriety, and you went out there and actually like talked to the people, and it's kind of like humanized that area in a way. I thought that was very cool and interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for. I want to show, like with the hood stuff, I want to show like the danger and the reality of the situations they live in. Because where I'm from, I'm not really at risk of getting shot. It's not really like something that I live with. You know what I mean? So I want to show the reality of the danger that they live with, but also like humanize them and show that like they're just fucking regular people, and they're not like some demons, some like bloodthirsty murder demons.
Right. I think that's a good useful tool in. I feel like being online and like terminally online, we sort of develop these caricatures of people. We lose touch with the reality and the humanity of certain groups. People can become our enemies, and we don't actually have any idea of what they are, who they're about, and it's nice for you to present this authentic viewpoint where you go in like impartially and kind of just prove it's like partially documentary in a way, but yeah, that's definitely a quality of your videos that I enjoy. I think it makes you rather unique. It gives you an advantage.
Yeah, I think that starting off I did a lot more like comedy stuff, and I feel like I've noticed over the time that like the comedy stuff has a lot more of a niche appeal, not as much of a widespread appeal.
It's hard to be successful
in
comedy.
And sometimes it's like less enjoyable. Like it gives me a lot of anxiety and like self-doubt and like questioning myself. Like, what am I doing putting fucking a bunch of meat and eggs on Easter and dressing up like a rabbit and giving like meat eggs to people for Easter? Mm-hmm. Like, is that just completely not funny and stupid and cringe?
In my experience, it's always better to just make the video.
Not worry about it.
If you have doubts about like, we might not, just make it. There will be other videos in the future, even if it's a dud, even if people don't get it. You will have that knowledge rather than just being like, it might be successful. Just like, it's always more valuable, in my opinion, just to do it. If you're on the fence about a specific topic catching on or not.
That's something me and Tom have been talking about. Turkey Tom is like the creativity versus productivity scale.
Yes.
And like not trying to just max out your creativity and only post like once every 2 months and mess yourself up in the algorithm.
I've definitely slid way down.
But not be too productive to where you're like posting like soulless nothingness content that's just like hollow.
Yeah. I mean, I have been working on the second channel, but the main channel production is tangibly slowed, but the videos, I just keep making them more ambitious.
Dude, your main channel shit is so high quality. And what I love about your main channel is a lot of the commentary stuff is kind of just like the same, like what's the hot topic to talk about. I feel like you're like finding like odd and compelling things.
I like digesting things.
Yeah.
A lot of my concepts, I first think about making the video like years before I actually go to approach it.
Like, dude, your SpongeBob video where it was like talking about why the early seasons of SpongeBob were more relatable and enjoyable because of like the Squidward SpongeBob dynamic and how that was lost. Like, that's just like a really thought-provoking concept. Like, that's not trendy. That's not like something you'd think would do good in the algorithm necessarily, but like it does because it's like so well made and thought-provoking.
Right. Yeah. I think young aspiring creators, they get the sense in their head that they have to be productive. Like they have to put stuff out. I mean, I guess this is just the advice I just said, but that's more working through concepts, like developing your skill set as a creator to understanding your capabilities and limitations of what you're good at, what you're not, and what really works. That's why you put out the content. But in terms of kind of, I feel like a lot of people do that and they're on sort of the treadmill philosophy because they get an impression that if they stop, they will be left behind. And in my experience, that's just not really the case. If you provide a good, thought-provoking product, people will tune in. It's I would compare it to like looking at the lifetimes of stars out in the galaxy, where there's certain stars, they burn really quick, they shine brilliantly, but their lifespans are shorter as a result. You can make your YouTube lifespan longer or shorter depending on how you manage things. And you can see like people, you may perceive them as putting in a similar amount of effort as yourself and getting more views, but there's just an aspect where you have to stick to your guns and make sure that the content you're making is something that you are intrinsically proud of. You have to like take pride in your own content rather than pumping it out. And it doesn't really matter. It's not really going to matter if you upload like once a week or once a month, once every 2 months, as I've kind of fallen into. Eventually people will find you if your product is true.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's definitely true.
I guess that would be a good segue to get into how you went on like a fiendish streak on YouTube, where I think you made a well-produced video 82 weeks in a row, you said?
81 weeks, yeah.
81 weeks?
Every Thursday without missing a single week.
That is crazy.
I was miserable by the end of it. I was like super anxious and unhappy.
I can imagine. Like
just like sifting through my brain for like every, like, I would travel, go film a video, edit it, and like go to bed and wake up that next day just like, if I don't have something planned, like I'm fucking scrambling of like where I'm going to travel, who I'm going to talk to, what I'm going to do. It was much less enjoyable during that grind.
And you've since stopped that, of course, now.
I've slowed more to like a every 2 week kind of a thing. Just gives me time to like be creative and not just be like maxing out my productivity.
Right. That's I feel like the layman's out there, the people who not really involved in media production at all, they don't realize how much time it takes. And it's not like arduous work most of the time, but there is so much time that has to be dedicated to actually making a full video by yourself almost. I mean, I guess you have a couple editors you work with.
I had 2 editors for like 5 months, but it didn't work out. And
now you're back to editing them yourself?
Yeah, even when I had editors, like I was doing like at least 50% of the editing on every video.
It is a long process. Yeah. It is a time-consuming, thought-provoking, where you constantly have to be critically thinking and analyzing about how you're going to come off when this video comes up, it takes a lot of time. And that's why, I mean, I can understand why you burn out making a video, like a well-produced video, not like just like some Let's Play segment from a video game, a well-produced video with like editing, audio, visuals, like decent length, once a week. I gotta imagine that leaves probably like almost no time for yourself. And when you factor in like traveling, like it's hard to work on videos when you're traveling. I can't be in like the production mindset, at least for the main channel videos. The Downward Diary, I'm actually coming around to that more, of working on it on the go, because it's less of an expenditure of effort, so I'm able to do it easier. But traveling just throws me off productivity wise. It's like I have to be prepared to like do virtually zero work in terms of writing, in terms of like planning, other than just like raw filming, like stuff on location. I have to be prepared to just not get anything done while traveling.
Think about this. In the past 3 years, I've lived like 90% of the time out of a suitcase in Airbnbs and hotels and friends' couches and shit.
Yeah, it's like almost like I remember following professional wrestling and seeing some of the behind the scenes interviews where a lot of the wrestlers, especially in the 90s when it was really bad, they talked about like being on the road like 330 days of the year.
I watched some Ric Flair documentary that was really sad. It was like you have this image of Ric Flair.
That was the 30 for 30, right?
Yeah, he's the nature boy. Woo, he's rich. He's a world champion. But like his family life is like in shambles.
He's in an intense amount of just personal and emotional toil, and physical, just from obviously the nature of the physicality of
and like the
professional
tragedy
wrestling
with his son and everything.
Yeah.
Like, man. Yeah, it is interesting. Like, I feel like the typical person views like fame and everything as like, oh, it's like the best thing, and their lives are so perfect. But when you like see the behind the scenes, like a lot of people that have garnered fame have like destroyed their lives in the process. You know what I mean? Like, at what cost?
Yeah.
At what cost did Ric Flair woo, drip, go woo on a bitch?
Well, he did get to bang 10,000 women. So, I mean,
that's too many women, dude. I don't even want to do that.
That's just like
10,000.
That's just like climbing Mount Everest.
That sounds like a burden, bro.
It's like it's not even about the sex or whatever at that point. You're just like you've gone where no man has gone before. Like almost.
I think Wilt Chamberlain said he had sex with like
20,000.
A similar amount of women.
Yeah.
Well, it's like every day you're looking to bang a new girl. It sounds exhausting.
I don't know that much about your personal life, but it would seem like you'd meet a lot of interesting people on the road, traveling all the time. Like, what are some of the most interesting, or I guess odd situations you've been in?
There definitely is a lot, and I think some of them slip my mind. What comes to my mind right now is being on Wall Street and doing a video called Harassing Rich People on Wall Street, where a homeless man, for like 20 minutes of the shoot, was walking around with like an open shirt and his dick out, and he was just like fucking playing with his dick. And
was he like jerking out, or was he just
he was just like fondling it and like walking up and down the street? And I went up to him and I said like, I think I said like, why is your Johnson out, buddy? And he was like, I just like having my dick out or something. Like on Wall Street.
Dude, that's the chief investment banker you saw.
Yeah.
That's the guy who's made so much fucking money, he owns half the block.
That was an odd guy. When I went to Jacksonville and did like a video about the gangs and hoods out there, I met a guy at a gas station, a crackhead, who was insisting he was going to get me. He like kept insisting
he's
he was
going to get you.
Yeah. He was like, I'll get you. You're not from my hood, I'm going to get you. He just kept insisting that. That was a super weird interaction.
Dude, I grew up around Jacksonville. Jags fan, baby. Duval.
Yeah, Duval County.
We're going to the playoffs next 20 years. Trevor forever.
So do you know all about Duval County, like KTA versus ATK, Young and Ace, Fulio?
I'm not familiar with like the specifics, but I know there's a lot of violence. Like every night in the news, every night in the news, just a bunch of fatalities.
That's the thing that blows my mind more than anything. Going to the hoods and going to these gang areas and talking to people is like the threat of gun violence is like constant. Like what an unpleasant way of living.
It's just like brinkmanship, basically.
Like with YouTubers, man, like if you had a YouTube beef, like your worst fear is they make like an exposed video that makes you look bad.
Like Frank Hassel shows up to your house with a GoPro.
Yeah, like you're not worried about like a drive-by coming and blasting your face off. And that's like a really crazy thing to me. Who else have I talked to that's been insane? It's like hard, like I feel like shit blends together.
You've gone to a lot of very interesting places, but I guess after all, not much probably stands out as like the one time. I guess was there ever a time when you felt like unsafe or endangered?
I think the most unsafe I felt was in Skid Row
Oh,
in LA.
that that is one of the probably one of the places I'd least likely want to be.
Yeah, like at January 6th, I didn't feel in danger at all. I actually didn't, when I was there, I didn't even think that it was going to be like a big thing till I got home. Like, obviously, it sounds dumb, but
Really,
like,
it wasn't a complete total threat to our democracy where our nation almost ceased to exist entirely.
and I was in interviews all day. Everyone was just kind of like, some people were fired up, other people were just chilling. Like, I didn't think it was going to be like the biggest news story of the fucking year. I wasn't afraid there. I was more afraid at a NELK meetup than I was at January 6th.
Really.
I went to a NELK meetup, there were spiking glass bottles at people's heads the whole time.
Yeah, that's probably not somewhere where you'd want to be. But so, what did you encounter on Skid Row that made you feel threatened?
Just like, oh man, like I went there to film a video. Within 20 minutes, my camera guy got like so spooked because people kept like threatening us and telling us they were gonna rob us. And
So there's just like a bunch of legitimately schizophrenic people out there who have like no limits to their
yeah, cops don't
what
really,
they can potentially do.
cops don't really go inside Skid Row either. So it's just like, they can tell I'm not there. They might be thinking I'm there to dunk on them or like bother them. You know what I mean? And yeah, people just telling me like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you're gonna get stabbed. I'm gonna rob you. And then my camera guy was just like, not feeling it, understandably. So I had to bail and come back the next day with a new camera guy. We saw a man shitting in the street, and he was covered. It was a black guy. And he was covered in white paint, and he was shitting and screaming.
Paint?
He was shitting and screaming, like in the road, and it was like scary.
He's probably in pain.
Yeah, he seemed like he was in agony. He seemed like he wanted to cause me agony.
What in the hell?
That was petrifying. Let me think. What else? When we left O Block the second day, like people were shooting. I don't know who it was, but people shot close by to us.
So you witnessed like the actual shooting.
There was a
Maybe
shooting.
not like visually, but you heard it.
Dude, it was
close
so
by.
close. Like it
Wow.
was so. I was about to cry. I instantly felt like I was about to cry like a little baby. That was super scary.
Yeah, but when you come out of it, you've got that very unique content. So I guess that's the risk you take. You gotta be more risky with your content when your account's smaller.
Yeah, I always think about this, like what's the barrier to entry in my video? Like if anyone can go make it or if anyone would be willing to do it, like it probably won't perform as well than if it's like, oh my God, you went to O Block? Oh my God, you went to Skid Row? Oh my God,
And it's a matter of just, you're not just going to like one of these places. You're going to a bunch of these places back to back to back and making these interest pieces. And you have that catalog where like the totality of the body of work, you're just like a modern day world traveler, adventurer type.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Yeah, but instead of like exploring the unexplored wilderness, you're exploring these almost, and it's not all your videos, but these kind of taboo places where it's been so surrounded by like institutions of society that it's kind of just like almost the black holes that we have created with just, I guess, the development, how civilization in America has developed.
Yeah. The stuff I filmed in Hawaii was really fascinating. It's unreleased, but I got to go to a homeless encampment in Waianae, Hawaii, where there's like 200 people that live there, and 50% of them work full time. But it's so expensive to live in Hawaii that they work full time and give food to the pantry of the community.
So it's not like the homeless that I see out in Gainesville. It's just all drug users.
That ask you for money and then rage on you. No, these are like regular people.
These are working class people.
Yeah, it's Waianae Boat Harbor in Hawaii.
Wow.
Super interesting video.
That's exciting. I'm excited for that to come out. So we are at Michael's here on a special mission.
Big
I
Mike.
guess for something we'll get into when we come back. I don't know if I'm gonna bring it into the store. Probably tell me to stop, so I might just leave it in here. And
Yeah.
Come back.
Yeah, that's fine.
But we'll be back in a little bit and continue the show.
With some arts and crafts.
Yes, indeed. All right, we are back, much sweatier after trudging through this extremely intensely hot Heat Island, Florida strip mall.
I'm dripping.
But we have just taken a trip to Michael's to get some poster boards and a few other props. He got some stencil lettering.
Yep.
And We are going to be participating in something that has pretty much been, at least as far as you and I have been concerned, a year in the making. So last year you made a video that changed sort of the trajectory of your channel and really opened you up to a whole new audience. You probably made the best primary source video about the Sam Hyde and iDubbbz Creator Clash controversy.
Yep. And it was all pretty much just out of luck, really.
Yeah.
Because I got invited to Creator Clash by Jet, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to film, what I was going to do. But right when we got there last year, Sam was banned.
Yes.
The storyline just opened then. Because we didn't think Sam was going to be banned.
Yeah.
And I still to this day don't fully understand the concrete reason why he was banned.
It's very nebulous. It has been very squirrely with how iDubbbz and Anissa have been treating it. There's a lot of questions, a lot of reasonable questions and concerns from the fans. And I used to be an iDubbbz fan, and I don't think I'd consider myself a fan of him anymore after what has transpired, simply because it has just been an extremely lame showing from him.
It's been weak, dude. It's been really weak. And I've been prideful at moments in my internet beefs and kind of not handle things completely correctly. And I think it's really odd how it's been an entire year since the last Creator Clash, and he still is gripping tight to his pride and sticking to his guns.
It has become worse.
Yeah.
Last year he had some plausible deniability that, maybe the brands or Dr. Mike or whoever has a problem with Sam and he's just trying to make the inaugural event go smoothly. But Ian is coming in this time with Sam having trained Harley for the original event and nothing having happened, the event not having had any problems because of it.
His whole crew was there.
And now when Froggy is being trained by Sam, that's suddenly the huge problem.
Well, and the whole narrative that Dr. Mike didn't want to fight on a card with Sam. What are the divine odds that right after Creator Clash ends, I'm outside, the only fighter I see is Dr. Mike, and I get to interview him, and he doesn't even know who Sam is.
Yeah.
He says he wishes Sam got to come to the event.
And he was on a different interview, a Twitter Spaces interview, where I think Willie Mack and Keemstar or whatever asked him directly, do you have a problem with Sam Hyde? And are you trying to not be on an event with Sam Hyde? And according to them, they were yeah, he said he would not mind being in an event with Sam Hyde. So that it's coming off like a complete lie, a complete just empty excuse for iDubbbz and Anissa to cover their asses of a decision that was just ultimately made out of personal prejudice rather than any sort of objective threat to the event itself.
And even still this year, people are expecting some kind of big spectacle, some big interruption, and it's not happening. They think Sam's coming, right? Now some people know that I'm here. People think I'm going to cause some big uproar or some big stunt. And it's just not, it was never going to happen. It's not going to happen, and it's just completely in Ian's mind, I feel like.
Yeah, but I guess that comes into the reason why we were at Michael's. I'm showing up for Froggy Fresh. I believe that injustice has occurred.
100%.
Froggy Fresh, who has thus far pretty much just been a class act. I mean, he posted a comment about Anissa, hyping up a boxing physical fist fight. Imagine that. Trying to add a little bit of stakes and juice to a boxing match. Apparently iDubbbz couldn't imagine it. It was just unthinkable. So Froggy had to be unceremoniously removed. And not just that, they couldn't even dump him amicably. He had to come in there all squirrely with these legal threats, trying to just extort him basically to pay back $15,000 that had already been spent. And I mean, Froggy, he's a YouTube legend, but he doesn't get that many views. He doesn't get that many impressions. This is not a guy who is really at liberty of just just this $15 I spent, give it back. So
$15,000 probably means a lot to him. He's got a family, he's got a wife, he's got kids. They really are screwing him over bad.
That is just low.
Yeah.
He put on the suit and tie and the cufflinks and became Mr. Corporation, or tried to talk behind a lawyer or whoever he has for the event. And Froggy thus far, Froggy's been open, honest, transparent. Every single time someone's brought up a concern, he's offered a solid, sound rebuttal from his perspective and iDubbbz has just been a black box.
Dude, Froggy's been one of the most like amicable and kind and humble people about the whole thing.
Like he's not even coming to Creator Clash. He could like
because he doesn't want to cause problems.
He could have been vindictive, and obviously, if I was in his position, I would have been vindictive.
100%.
But he is still like, no matter, like, despite how much he's been mistreated, he still wants the event to go smoothly.
No, but yeah, he just tweeted out today like in support of the event, saying he hopes it goes well. When he is like the key figure that could make it like look shitty and shit on them, instead he's taking that and promoting them in a positive way.
He's still acting in good faith, and that speaks a lot to his character, and it conversely speaks a lot to the rather lack of character that iDubbbz and Anissa have shown in this situation.
Like, do you think they actually feel good about what they did to him? Like, I feel like, do you think that they're like that deluded that deep down they don't kind of know like that was a little fucked up?
I think they feel like, yeah, take that. You go out and box with Sam as a slight to me after knowing, and how iDubbbz feels in his head is like way more paranoid than what anyone actually believes. If he had not done this Froggy stuff, no one would care. No one would probably even have been interested in continuing this narrative that like he is being like intimidated by Sam Hyde. But to like show this level of just pridefulness and just pettiness, he's just showing that Sam is like living rent-free in his head, and he's making himself such an easy target to make fun of. Such an easy target.
Oh, if you look at all their socials, like all the comments, they're just getting like lambasted by everybody.
Yeah.
But Ian thinks that Sam has some ill will towards him that just it doesn't exist. It reminds me of like some weird like one-sided rivalry that your like little cousin will have with you, where they're like trying to like beef with you and cause issues, and you're just looking at them like, dude, like what are you doing?
Like, dude, I don't care what you do.
Yeah, like I lived out there with Sam for 6 months training, right?
Yes.
He wasn't bad-mouthing iDubbbz to me. He wasn't bashing them. He's not like, if I went and did a video with iDubbbz tomorrow, I don't think Sam would even have an issue with it.
Right. So and that's interesting that you comment on this, because that video you made last year, and you got an interview out of Sam Hyde, a straight interview, where he basically said like, yeah, there was all this information, finally all this beef that came out way back in 2021 when Ian went out to Providence to film that video with Sam, where Sam was under the perception that Ian was trying to humiliate him and paint him as this washed up channel. You were basically on the boots and kind of extracting that information from him, and yeah, that was a great video you made last year. It was like the first one of yours I watched. It introduced me to your channel. I'm sure a lot of other people. And you did good work there. You did good work in like really getting down to the truth of the situation. Or at least as much truth as Sam's willing to cooperate. iDubbbz is not. Like
yeah, I would have happily interviewed iDubbbz. I'm not trying to do a hit piece on iDubbbz. I don't have like, you know, I just want to.
There's valid questions though.
Yeah, I'm really curious about this event. I want to know like what the people that are attending, I want to know what they think about it.
Yeah, so that's what we got planned this time. This is the sequel, and I'm showing out. I'm bringing Froggy Fresh signs into the event. You and I just picked up some signs from Michael's. We're gonna make them. We're gonna try to see if there's a problem.
I'll be curious.
Just how much the security has been keyed in on this kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm showing out for Froggy today. I mean. There's several people in the event I know and respect. I'm not trying to like sabotage the event, but the principle of this thing is it's not about like trying to ruin Creator Clash. It's about this issue that Ian is trying to remove and just sweep under the rug. I don't want it to go away. I don't want to go silent into that good night. Like, I'm just going to try to do what I can to show out for Froggy, you know?
Yeah, you know, in if my interviews today, everyone's talking about like, you know, Froggy deserved to be banned and go iDubbbz. Like, I'll put that in the video. Like,
right.
I just want to see genuinely what people's responses are.
There's a lot more filming that's taking place after this show, and it's going to end up on Brandon's channel. But I guess that'll be a good point to expand on the 6 months you spent with Sam Hyde, a guy who's allegedly just so evil and reprehensible he can't even participate in a boxing event. How was your experience going out to Providence? And you were out there for 6 months, like frequently interacting with Sam and his crew.
Every day,
like,
yeah.
What was that experience like for you?
Like one of, you know, I've interacted with a lot of content creators. He was one of the most like hospitable, kind, welcoming, and helpful people, you know, in contact with me every morning. afternoon, night, checking, make sure I'm eating right. You know, we're going to the gym together.
Far cry from what Froggy said, where Ian contacted him 3 times total, and one of which was to talk about Sam.
Well, Sam was very involved, and all Sam seemed to care about is like making sure I was in a good position to win my boxing match. He's not like the thing about Sam is like I guess they think he's like running around all the time, like spewing hateful rhetoric about like politics and racial stuff and sexuality. Like we don't even talk about that stuff. You know, like we're chilling. Like we're you know.
You got to see the real Sam behind the scenes, like the mythical part that a lot of people I don't think like to believe exists. And I'm not trying to say like Sam Hyde is this super virtuous, great charitable person, but there's a lot of boogeymaning going on with him. I feel when, I guess in your experience, I haven't personally met the guy, but based on everyone I've talked to who has spent extensive amounts of time with him, he comes off as a lot more regular than I think he's often portrayed. And obviously that's part of his shtick, to be eccentric and bombastic, but it's kind of, I guess, naive to believe that he's just like that all the time.
Yeah, no, he's like totally like cool, regular, normal dude. Like obviously when he's doing his comedy shtick, he's like on and he's really good at it. But the Sam I know is just like a good person, a good friend, and yeah, one of the genuine people in this internet world. Because the internet world is filled with a lot of like fake, business-minded, disingenuous, social climbing
people who just are greedy and
Yeah.
they just want to self-serve. They want to put themselves over everyone else. They want to make themselves the star of the show. It's kind of the impression I get, honestly, with a lot of this creator clash stuff for Ian.
And really, how much does Sam have to gain from having me out in Providence and training me for 6 months?
Right.
Like he is a very
He's taking time out of his day.
every single day. I mean, we were training six days a week, and he's a rich, busy guy. How much am I really bringing to the table? Like I feel like a lot of it was like he was just out of like goodwill,
Yes.
and because he knows I'm like a big fan and stuff, and like yeah, just be doing a nice thing and helping me out.
Right. And it was successful. You won. You defeated Ice Poseidon.
3-0, the Providence camp, 3-0.
Should have been 4-0.
I'll give Froggy the win by default.
Yeah. That's a forfeit. That's
yeah,
a forfeit
he got
on
the-
Creator Clash's end.
4-0.
Yeah.
No, the whole Sam Hyde camp, fucking Jet, Chris, Bick, Joey, Laker, they're all good dudes and nice people. The notion that they're like hateful, anti-Semitic, racist people is just like it's just not the reality of it. Yeah, maybe they've said things in the past or made jokes or have takes people don't like, but like they demonize people in the modern day with these words.
Yeah.
You're anti-Semitic, you're transphobic, you're racist, and it makes you to like, oh, well, you're just an evil demon guy.
I mean, like, haven't comedians been saying offensive, like deliberately provocative stuff since the beginning of the craft?
Always.
I mean, like George Carlin did it all the time. Why are there different standards now?
Yeah, it's weird. I'm interested to see how far the pendulum swings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm interested to see if like if like people will come for me. I already get comments, people accusing me of like being homophobic and being racist.
For associating with Sam, right?
Yeah, for associating with Sam or like making somewhat edgy jokes when it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so funny nowadays. People like you're homophobic and you're like, you're just like, no, I'm not. I have no issue with gay people whatsoever. And they're like, no, you're homophobic.
I know better than you.
And I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
no, I'm not. Like, what?
That's just a lot of that's just Twitter. That's a lot of just performative virtue signaling, people wanting to make themselves look good. People who are usually the people who are the most accusatory are themselves the biggest degenerates. That's something I've just discovered in my experience just being online for a while. The people who keep to themselves tend to be the ones who have shit most well put together.
Yeah. But yeah, with the Sam thing, it's so funny because if iDubbbz called him tomorrow and wanted to be cordial and cool and train with him or just drop all the shit, guarantee you Sam would drop it.
Sam offered to train iDubbbz for a rematch with Dr. Mike.
Yeah. And bro, the camp out there with Jason Estrada, former Olympian, Big Six boxing, but they have a good camp. They have, good training partners, good strength and conditioning coaches. Like, they're doing it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not like Sam.
it's contributing to winning.
Yeah, it's not just Sam like.
Sam Hyde's becoming like the Nick Saban of boxing.
Yeah, he's not just like jerking off in like a parking lot. Like they're really doing.
You
shit.
got a winning culture.
Yeah, we grinded out there. It was hard work. My time in Providence, it wasn't that fun because we were just working hard. We're not plotting to
But hey, you got the dub.
We're not plotting to make terrorist actions on, people of color. We're like training in an all-black boxing gym, trying to just get better and improve. You know, like Big Six, the gym we train at in Providence is like Jason Estrada. All those dudes are like Puerto Rican black dudes.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's all about.
and they
It's
think,
all about just being great at what you do. You
and
know?
they think that the whole Sam racism like shit
Yeah,
is
get
like,
get mad, Jeep. Leave it to another Jeep to be the total fucking idiot of the day. You want to know how I know someone has a fucking low IQ midwit? They drive a fucking Jeep. I'm going like the speed limit on this fucking curb and gutter road, and this guy's giving me an earful.
he wants you to be 5 feet further.
Well, great. There's another guy in front of me. So what do you want me to do now?
Like,
Well, we're in an uptight, wealthy area. The people in like wealthy areas are just like more degenerative, and they drive Jeeps.
I think that the wealthier the area, the more they'll find shit to complain about and have a problem with. You know what I mean?
We're getting tailgated now.
HOA.
Smile, you're on camera. Oh, you're just trying to
Really?
go. You're just trying to go to Winn-Dixie.
Dude, what a joke. All that for fucking groceries?
Yeah. And I'm like, how much? He would have been behind that guy. He would have been 50 feet further up the road if I wasn't here slowing him down. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's amusing. That's why I kind of like the show format. You wind up with like eccentric events like that.
Yeah,
but-
we ran into someone, or someone ran into us yesterday.
Yeah.
Tom
That guy
got
yeah.
rear-ended.
Oh, Turkey Tom got rear-ended
Yesterday.
It is a bloodbath. This is the second worst place to drive in Florida.
Yeah.
Miami, of course, being far and away the worst. But Tampa, there are bad aggro drivers here.
Dude, I want to do more videos about like Florida people, like the Florida man stereotype.
Yes.
Like I need to do more videos
I'm a
talking to
Florida
those
man.
people.
Born and raised, brother.
Yeah.
But
I need to get down to the roots of the
Anyway.
authentic Florida.
that guy took an L. Downward Diary, keeping the dub. Brandon Buckingham, 1-0 in his amateur boxing career. But let's not forget the biggest dub. The biggest dub you took over a guy who's taken many L's this year. We are talking about the Sneeko drama, the most high-profile drama you've ever been in. You went to war with Sneeko.
Yeah, it got nasty.
Yeah.
Definitely got nasty.
And it's good to see that you've come out of it, because it seemed like for several weeks and months it was really affecting you, but you stuck to your guns and you came out of it and you are in a better place now.
Definitely, man. I learned some valuable lessons about the internet and what you should be giving your attention and focus to. And also, I think I learned some lessons about pridefulness, because in the Bible it says something about pride is like trying to force others to see things the way you see them.
Yeah.
And I think I got a little bit prideful in my whole the whole Sneeko beef. But yeah, shout out to Penguin Zero. He kind of was the front runner of me getting vindicated from it all.
One of the most massive ratios I've ever seen.
Because when I first put out my video about Sneeko, like I didn't get massive backlash, but I was definitely getting backlash. People were still like calling me a rapist and saying all this psycho shit about me.
Yeah, this was all stuff started by Sneeko because
That
he
he
didn't
made
like
up.
you.
No, I still get people calling me a rapist.
Getting passed in the suicide lane. I got my first ticket for that.
The suicide lane?
Oh, he's not passing, he's turning. All right, BMW, you get a pass for now.
He's a hot rod.
BMW is not as degenerate as a Jeep, but there's still plenty of bad BMW drivers. Oh yeah, this guy's in the turn lane though. He's starting the turn lane 7 blocks back.
That was terrible driving.
Yeah, he's coming to turn here. And guess what? Look at all the time he saved. We're in the same spot.
Yeah.
Be an aggressive driver out there. It saves time and
Good
it doesn't
job.
make you look like a total douchebag.
There you go.
But yeah, speaking of total douchebags, Sneeko's spreading slanderous lies about you, trying to torpedo your reputation, and you survived.
Yeah,
That's good.
luckily I feel like I came out the other end okay. I do wish he would have just called me like a loser or unoriginal or corny or a piece of crap, or like taking it to the sexual assault realm is what really like fucked with my head. For sure.
Yeah, and you definitely seemed like you had to take some time off
Yeah.
during that.
No, because with the comments, if you get obsessive with the comments and you're not sleeping right and you're giving all your attention and focus to this negative shit. My phone number got leaked and I should have changed it right away, but instead I just like blocked numbers and it would be like every day I'm getting.
Yeah,
these
but that
people-
sucks because thinking in like your 2-factor shit once they know your phone number.
Yeah.
So that's word of the wise out there. If you ever wind up in trouble where your phone number gets out, you change it. Say that you're being stalked and your carrier will just change it for free.
Word of the wise: if you have internet beef with someone, don't make a 2.5 hour psychotic video essay about them. Make a 9-minute one. It'll do better.
Right, right. But I still think it was effective.
Yeah.
More people took your side after that, and Sneeko has since kind of. I mean, you can get views and success by being just a pariah, but after a while, I think the gas runs out, and you just become an undesirable person to watch or interact with.
Yeah, I mean, him being like a front runner on the whole alpha male manosphere space, it just seems so disingenuous and like it's just weird. Like you're an artsy kid from New Haven, Connecticut that grew up with rich parents. You watch your girlfriend have sex with other people. You weren't into sports. You're not like a very athletic, like macho man guy. Like, you know, you talk openly in your videos that like you struggled to even get laid up until you were like 20, 21 and started drinking alcohol. Like, why are you portraying this image?
Many talk about like this sense of alphaness and like the art of manliness, and this may offend some people who watch this channel, but like you are being sold snake oil. If you are engaging with content that makes you feel good and is like trying to tell you, like you get off to the idea of someone telling you how to be a man, you are being sold snake oil. You need to go out in the world and have real experiences with real people and develop wisdom, and not form this completely straw man viewpoint of the entire world and how everyone is out to get the true alpha males of the society, which happens to be you.
Yeah, girls only want to fuck alpha males that have $1 million in their bank account.
Yeah, girls only want to fuck guys who talk about manliness on the internet for 20 hours a day.
Yeah, fresh and fit. Shout out the guys.
Like if you're a lost boy out there and you're looking for guidance, go out in the real world and make real friends with people in reality, and stay away from internet figureheads who are telling you what you want to hear.
I don't think anyone, male or woman, likes the whole alpha male posturing, like constant, like bucking up to one another.
Yeah, but they keep appearing because they make money.
Yeah.
Because insecure men gravitate towards them, view them as their new king, and see them as like the messiah to lead them into like the promised land of masculinity. And you wind up with these embarrassing videos of like that TikTok of like the kid with a speech impediment going to the front of the class and telling the teacher how he's the alpha.
I'm the alpha now.
Like, all of you out there, like most of the Sneeko audience, most of the Andrew Tate audience, you are closer to that kid, way closer to that kid than any sort of image of masculinity. Schwarzenegger, like Hulk Hogan, anyone.
Yeah, I mean, dude, look at me. Like, you know, I'm relatively like social and charismatic. I've never had a problem with girls. I am not even in the ballpark of an alpha male. You know what I mean? I wrestled my whole life. I've been a successful combat athlete.
I personally find the concept of an alpha male to be fallacious. Like, we are not pack animals. We are not wolves.
Yeah.
People, like the true essence of manliness is being able to contribute and participate in society and like work with other people and build things bigger than yourself.
No, it's about being muscular and wearing nice clothes and peacocking.
Oh yeah, it's about taking a bunch of roids and then like smashing a 45-pound plate into someone's head but pretending like you fell down.
It's about having 25 girlfriends.
Yeah. 25 women on speed dial.
I saw this one
Snapchat.
thing, I forget who, it was by one of the Manosphere people. They were saying like, yeah, all my girlfriends love me. And then someone was like, but do you love your girlfriends? And he was like, no, I don't love them. They just love me.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, what a fucking, like, you're like a dickhead. Yeah, I get all these people to love me. I don't love them back, though.
Okay, it looks like the conversation's getting a little too hot for YouTube, too hot for the GoPro. But do you even remember what I was saying before? God, that's going to be super frustrating because I had a good thought. I wanted to... Oh, yeah, Neverland. So people associate Neverland with Peter Pan, like just staying a boy forever. But as I'm getting older in my 20s, I'm starting to realize that there's like more to growing as a man and maturing, where you're not supposed to stay as like a 20-year-old forever, just perpetually going out having one-night stands and drinking and partying and just like showing off your Ferrari to other people, showing off your Rolex. There is further development that needs to take place as a man, and like all these like Andrew Tate watching, Sneeko watching people, they're in the second stage of Neverland,
Yeah.
where they've gone past being a teenager but you're still just stuck in your progression of forever having the mentality of like a 20-year-old.
They're in their second childhood. I think it was it Willie Mack that said he had gotten like Sneako's course, and like what he said about how you grow on Instagram is to flex. You have to flex your car, flex your body, flex your money.
That's like what 18, 19, 20-year-olds think about all the time.
That's like literally high school shit.
Yeah. But that's you're just missing the later stages of life, and where greater satisfaction can come in. Like, I'm getting ready to settle down. I mean, like, I'm only 25. A lot of guys act out their 20s probably like until they're 30 or 40. But this is like not the end state of being a man in modern society, in my opinion. You're supposed to progress to something beyond, and being cooperative and helping your community. These are like the actual true tenets of manhood, in my opinion. And I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm not trying to sell a course. This is just, I feel like a lot of people have gone wayward with these types of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the little Asian girl that was flexing on everyone? The youngest flexer in the world?
Was that just like some TikTok thing or some Dr. Phil thing?
You know what I'm talking about? Little something. Asian girl, like 7 years old, flexing on everyone. The youngest flexer.
I vaguely remember what that's referring to, but I can't come up with the name.
I feel like that's someone who's like inspired by the Manosphere Flex Olympics.
Oh yeah, it's a good thing to inspire children
to flex.
Yeah.
We all need to flex more. Put down the books, pick up a stack.
Yeah, very impressive. I've got all these children impressed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good at impressing children.
Flex off.
Well, anyway, at the behest of another overheating malfunction, that's probably going to do it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Brandon on the show, definitely one of the most interesting guests I've had so far. If you're interested in supporting Brandon, he's got his Patreon. I'm going to put all your socials in the description.
Oh, thank you,
Hopefully
man.
you guys will check him out. But while this show is ending here on the Downward Diary, on the Downward Drive, we have a lot more work to do today. The adventure of today, Creator Clash 2, has only just begun. And if you're interested in seeing the continuation, there will be more content coming out soon. I don't know if this video is going to come out before or after yours, but probably after, I imagine. But hopefully by the time this is out, there is a successor video of what's going to happen later between him and I. We could get banned. We could get arrested. iDubbbz could call the Creator Clash Gestapo on us for daring to mention Froggy Fresh. It would kind of suck, but it would be good content. It would be hilarious.
I mean, I'm not going to try to get kicked out, but it would be better for us if we did get kicked out. But
we're not going to be like belligerent about it. But
no,
we're going to bring in signs to a spectator sporting event.
Yeah.
There should be nothing wrong with that in theory, but
nothing out of the ordinary.
We'll see how it turns out. All right. Thank you for tuning in, everyone, and hopefully you'll tune in for the next one.
Thanks for having me on, brother. Appreciate you.